I'm great, and yourself?
I'm well. I am well. Bracing the winter weather that is on its way.
Yes.
They done closed down everything in preparation for it.
Really?
Did y'all get snow? Yeah.
Just a little bit of dusting.
It wasn't even a dusting. It was some flurries in the air. Next thing you know, they were like, okay, it's not today. It's Monday. I'm like, okay. Because they said it was supposed to be Friday, but we'll see. It is cold, though. It is so cold.
Yes.
It is very cold. I don't want to go outside, but I want to go outside.
Look, I'm not going outside.
I know you're not. Be like everything I need could be brought right here to me.
During the winter, I realized that I was born in July for a reason.
And I'm a spring baby, so I share those sentiments. I do. I do. Oh, so how was your week?
Um, it was pretty nice. I mean, can
Uh
I, I need to be independently wealthy because when I tell you, I,
oh.
I've just been enjoying myself. I'll just say that.
Well, I love it. That's what's up. Welcome to 2025. Happy New Year. Happy New
Yes,
Year.
Happy New Year.
I guess I should have started off with that. Be like, you'll be running into people and be saying Happy New Year for the next 30 days.
You know, probably like for us, like it slipped our minds because we talk behind the scenes all the
I
time.
know. Like we done did this already.
Exactly. I didn't talk to her already this year.
You're like, my bad, my bad. All right, all right. Well, let's get this party started here. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to our Saturday morning tea, where we brew up the hottest topics in healthcare. We discuss health information, news, education, certification tips, entrepreneurship, the weather, being independently wealthy or having the wish to be independently wealthy, and New Year greetings. But basically, or more importantly, the revenue cycle at large. So as you come in, don't forget to hit the thumbs up or like button. I'm Clarice Warner, the girl with the pearls, the founder and senior education director of the Professional Reimbursement Network LLC, where coding education is key. And PRN is a healthcare compliance consultancy located in Cincinnati, Ohio, that specializes in revenue cycle and regulatory compliance and education. And let me ask, do you know what it takes to be a certified marketable medical coder? Well, before I introduce my co host, let me share with you information on a free, yes, free 99 email course on the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder. Hey, hey. Always a catchy tune. I love a catchy tune. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Okay. I told you that was my very first little jingle, so I love
Yes.
it. Oh, so many years ago, so many years ago. You think it was just yesterday. Anyway, if you're interested in getting more information about the 5 steps to become a certified marketable medical coder, then check out the description for the link. So joining me today is my partner in success, my co host, Mr. Jesse, the registered trademark. Put some respect on his name, the coding nurse. Sir, introduce yourself and tell the folks all about you. Okay, I'm coming to you. I got too many things open.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jesse. I live in Philadelphia. I have been a nurse for 3 decades.
Okay.
And In 2014, I left the bedside and I transitioned into HIM. In 2020, during the pandemic, I created a company called the Cody Nurse LLC, where I help nurses and other people in healthcare with a clinical background transition into the wonderful world of HIM.
And it's a wonderful world.
It is.
It's a wonderful world. It is, it is. All right. And how's all that working out for you?
It's going pretty good. I have a new ICD 10 CM class starting on Tuesday, and was it Thursday? One of my students from last year sent me an email telling me that he had taken his CIC the weekend before and he passed.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That is what's up. That is what's up. All right, all right. So, if you are new here, again, welcome. But before we jump in, let me remind you that you can join in and add to the conversation. Don't be shy. Your opinion matters and is welcomed here. So use the chat away, chat with us, chat amongst yourselves. However, the only thing that we ask is if you have a question to please type Q first so that we know it is a question for us and not a question amongst yourselves and we don't miss it. All right, all right, all right. Let's see who's all in the house today. Good morning, our on the street correspondent, Miss
Yes.
Jessie
Good
Coleman. Good
morning.
morning, good morning. All right, all right. I see folks in the space. So for those of you again who are just joining or watching the replay, today we're talking protecting your HIM career, global workforce impact. And with a side note, can the H-1B visa program affect the domestic health information management industry?
Mm.
I've been bracing all day for this one. Yesterday I was like, uh-oh. It's going down in these streets.
Well, I have found a lot of information. It's going to be
I know
interesting.
you did. So sir, I told you, this is your take it over for you. Take it over for you. All right. So, but first, let's get into our church announcements, shall we? Shall we? Look at you. You ready? As soon as the beat drops. The beat ain't even dropped yet.
Well, when you stay ready, you ain't got to.
Hey, I say it all the time. Hey. All right. Mr. Jesse, you already gave one of your church announcements.
Yes.
I said, well, sir, he just gonna go ahead and okay. Just take it away.
I thought about it, but then I was like, it was kind of.
I said, well, okay, there we go. All right. Well, one of the things I want to bring to folks' attention, I'm sure you probably have seen this, but if you have not, our friends over at AHIMA put an announcement on their, they sent an announcement via LinkedIn, and they put an announcement on, I believe they put an announcement on their website, but it says, our sincerest apologies. We heard you. We recognize the frustration our social post reminders regarding the January 1st, 2025 recertification deadline has caused. Did you see those reminder posts? They were
Actually, I got an email too.
email, posts, all of the things, letting you know, don't play about what we said we was gonna do. Well, due to the technical difficulties everyone is experiencing on our website. Really? We are postponing the implementation of the 40% requirement until we are confident the system issues are resolved. It's going to be a whole hot mess. Because depending on when your cycle renews, where you sit, it's going to be a mess. But anyway, we are committed to doing the right thing for our members and again apologize for the inconvenience this has caused. So, when you get those kinks out before you send the mess? I mean, we had, this is what, year 2 now? We've been talking about this and anticipating this, and when you think you would be ready, like you say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I don't know.
But you know what? I did find out something through all this kerfuffle that actually was a benefit.
You muted. You're low. Something's happening. You blocking something?
No.
Okay, you sound better now.
Okay. Oh, I might need to move closer.
Okay.
All right. So I found out something that was pretty interesting. So during all this kerfuffle and all that, and when I was reading, I found out that my home care certifications that I have to renew every year, since AHIMA Board HC Pro, they now count towards
the 40%.
Well, actually, and AHIMA CEUs.
Well, look at you. Well, there is something good that came out of this, huh?
Yeah. So that's 20 CEUs a year. So I could just do those, and that's my because I need 30 for AHIMA. So that's it.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's good news to know. Good
It
news
is.
to know. How about that? How about that? Well, I think that was the only thing I had. I think that was it. I think that was it. Okay. Well, let's get on into our wonderful discussion. So let me get out of all of this. Even though I could be listening to that all day. Hey. Okay, so again, we are talking about protecting your HIM career and the global workforce impact. So, as we all know, the HIM profession is facing unprecedented challenges, from AI to global competition. But you're not powerless. And remember that. You're not powerless. So let's discuss the strategies you need to protect your future in healthcare. So, Mr. Jesse, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Select screen window. There. Oh, that's it. Oh, hold on for a second.
Okay. Good morning. Jeez, I hope I say your name right. Yes, sir.
I'm going to have to come back.
All right. So as we experience some technical, what do you say? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. As he goes in to take a look at sharing his screen, I'll just ask, how's it going so far for the new year? And what are your thoughts on today's topic? Let me know. What are you thinking? Hopefully he has some, and I don't want to steal his thunder. Hopefully he provides us some information, because we were talking about the H-1B visas. There was a flurry of activity and discussion around these things within the past week or so, and that was what started the whole conversation, and how we thought about, well, how this may impact our profession. You ready?
Yeah, I apologize because I'm
No,
on a new laptop, well, a
look
different
at
one,
you.
and I have allowed Firefox to share, so I had to give new permissions and then restart it.
Oh, okay.
So,
No worries. I just talked about you. That's all. No. Okay. All right. So maybe I can find some more music to play. How about that? I know I like music. I be dancing all day. Hey. Well, anyway, let's talk about until he gets back. Have you made any? Are you making any New Year's resolutions? Actually, I heard somebody say, and I thought I would join in on that. They weren't making any New Year's resolutions. They were making New Year's commitments, and I was like, oh, I like that. Have you thought about any commitments that you want to make this year?
look, the third time's the charm. We ready.
Okay,
Is it okay? There we go.
I see you.
All right. So the first question is so what prompted all this was just like you said, Clarice, like our industry is facing unprecedented change. And since Christmas, there has been just all talk about the the H-1B visa program in general. So they have been relating it or talking about it mainly from a tech um, background, like you know, Google, like
Mm-hmm.
the FANG industry
Mm-hmm.
company. So I was thinking, well, could that apply to the HIM industry? So first, I wanted to, talk about like, what I saw from the H-1B visa program, and this is from 2021. So it says the H-1B visa program remains the outsourcing visa. So this is more than half of the top 30 H-1B employers were outsourcing firms. And we know that HIM has a huge offshoring component. So the takeaways are like these bullets here. This says most of the biggest users of the H-1B visas, the U.S.'s largest temporary work visa program, are companies that have an outsourcing business model. It says these companies exploit the H-1B program's weaknesses to facilitate the transfer of U.S. jobs offshore as a lower cost alternative to hiring U.S. workers, and sometimes replace incumbent U.S. workers with H-1B workers who are paid wages that are far below market wage rates. And it says the latest data shows that over 33,000 new H-1Bs were issued to the top 30 H-1B employers, accounting for nearly 40% of all new H-1Bs in 2020 that are subject to the annual limit of 85,000. So basically, that's the limit currently for I think it has been reduced to 65,000.
Mm.
So that means that they only issue 65,000 H-1B visas annually. So these companies have to fight for them. But with this current push, and it seems as though there is some support by the president for um, these visas to be expanded to um, help out help America, become tech savvy. Or tech ready for the future. I just wonder if that could be applied if they expand it, because right now you have too many companies fighting for limited spaces. But if that program gets expanded and open up to, an unlimited number or a lot more, would that be able to be used by the HIM industry? So then that gets into, because we had this discussion before. So I wanted to just talk about offshoring versus the H-1B visa. So it says while both are related to employee foreign workers, the H-1B visa refers to a specific type of work visa allowing skilled foreign workers to work in the United States, while offshoring means relocating a company's operations or tasks to a foreign country, often to take advantage of lower labor costs, which may or may not involve hiring workers on H-1B visas, but also involve setting up an entirely new operation abroad. Essentially, H-1B is a mechanism to bring foreign workers to the U.S., while offshoring is about moving work outside of the U.S. to another country. And then this is a link to the first this article I shared from the Economic Policy Institute from 2021. So then, we had this conversation about PHI and can uh, work be transferred? Is it legal for work to be offshore? So then I got to this article, which was from 2023, and it basically says yes. And there are some exceptions. So it says that, can PHI be transferred outside of the United States? The short answer is yes, according to the Office of Civil Rights, provided the covered entity or business associate enters into a business associate agreement and otherwise complies with the applicable requirements of the HIPAA rules. So it says HIPAA rules do not include requirements specific to electronic protected health information processed or stored outside of the United States. However, the OCR stresses that the risk to such EPHI may vary greatly depending on its geographic location. So it says the HIPAA privacy rule and transferring data outside of the United States. The HIPAA privacy rule is the foundation for protecting PHI in the United States. It applies to covered entities and their business associates. The general rule is that PHI should not be disclosed to locations outside of the United States without appropriate safeguards. So, without appropriate safeguards seems kind of broad to me.
Hmm.
And this is the exemptions to disclosure requirements.
So who enforces that BAA?
It should be the OCR.
Even outside of the United States?
Well, because if the business associate has an agreement with the covered entity really is responsible to make sure. So since the covered entity would be here in the United States, that would come under HIPAA and the OCR. So that should be what's
So
happening.
really, the onus is on that covered entity to
Right,
make sure that,
right,
which is normal,
right.
to make sure. Interesting.
And I had two other links. Hold on, let me pull them up because the one link is really good because it gets into exactly what the government says, the customs agency says about H-1Bs, and it breaks it down. I might have to just Google it again. And then, of course, Florida is always going to enter the chat. So let me see. History. Recently closed tabs. HC. Yeah, I had them all set. Then when I had to, I'll just Google it again. Oops. Oh, here we go. All right. right, is it coming up again? Okay, so before I get to this, I want to go to this one. So it says Florida has passed a law that prohibits the storage of certain electronic health records outside of the United States, its territories, or Canada. The law aims to protect patient privacy by ensuring that health data is stored in jurisdictions where privacy and security measures can be enforced. So that goes back to what you've always been saying, that certain states do restrict
Mhm.
that information. So, since there are certain states that restrict information, that means that those states prohibit basically offshoring.
Mhm.
So, in those states that prohibit offshoring, the H-1B visa program might be a way for them to skirt around if their ultimate goal is to save money. So, then I want to get to this. This was really interesting. So this is the H-1B specialty occupations page on the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services page. So it says eligibility criteria. And this is general. It's going to get interesting. So it said general requirements among others. The occupation requires, well, this position requires theoretical and practical application of a body of highly specialized knowledge and attainment of a bachelor's or higher degree in in the specific specialty or its equivalent as a minimum for entry into the occupation in the United States. The position must also meet one of the following criteria to qualify as a specialty occupation. Bachelor's or higher degree or its equivalent is normally the minimum entry requirement for the particular position. The degree requirement is common to the industry in parallel positions among similar organizations, or in the alternative, the job is so complex or unique that it can be performed only by an individual with a degree. The employer normally requires a degree or its equivalent for the position. The nature of the specific duties is so specialized and complex that the knowledge required to perform the duties is usually associated with the attainment of a bachelor's degree or higher. This is where it gets interesting. For you to qualify to perform services in a specialty occupation, you must meet one of the following criteria: hold a U.S. bachelor's or higher degree required by the specialty occupation from an accredited college or university, hold a foreign degree that is equivalent to a U.S. bachelor's or higher degree required by the specialty occupation from an accredited college or university, and this is right here. Hold an unrestricted state license, registration, or certification that authorizes you to fully practice a specialty occupation and be immediately engaged in that specialty in the state of intended employment. Having education, specialized training, and or progressively responsible experience that is equivalent to the combination of a U.S. bachelor's or higher degree in the specialty occupation, and have recognition of expertise in the specialty through progressively responsible positions directly related to the specialty. So this one right here is how I think they could really get around and use certification if that's what they wanted to do, because coding is a specialty. It is
Mhm.
a highly specialized skill.
Mhm.
So I was just thinking this whole that the whole conversation about the H-1B prompted me to just start looking around, and this is what I found. And I'm like, well, is there a way that it could be used if they expand it to possibly impact the HIM industry domestically? And
Mhm.
I think we see that it really can, possibly,
Mhm.
especially in certain locations. So, what are your thoughts so far?
Because I was up in the middle of the night on LinkedIn answering questions and fighting for my profession, I feel like it's a constant battle and a constant fight all the way around. Um, this is it's so like I started. We have the impact of the potential of AI, and we've talked about how to strategically position ourselves for that. We've talked about, some offshoring things that happen, and we've talked a little bit more about how to strategically position ourselves for that. And now we have a new added layer, which would be no longer do they have to worry about the folks that are offshore, but they're going to bring them here and allow, which I mean, hey, opportunities exist for those who, well, let me back up. So, particularly with our coding organizations, the two major ones anyway, they both have an international arm. They both are, uh, while they started as American membership companies, they both also have a vested interest in making sure that their members who are international also receive the benefits that they pay for annually, right? So I can see this as a win for them to say, hey, here are some additional opportunities if you could get to the States, and kind of outline to them this particular opportunity. But unfortunately, I just see that this becomes a whole other battle. I'm exhausted just thinking about it. A whole other battle where, because unfortunately healthcare is upside down recently, and losing all kinds of money for various reasons, and all of the changes that are happening in healthcare. Some of the workers, particularly those in health information, are now going to bear some of the brunt of that, because we all know our CFO folks and finance folks are always looking to determine and manage the bottom line. And if there are areas or opportunities for them to do that, then eight times out of 10, that's what they're going to do. And they're going to say, okay, well, this is cost effective for us. So we can get these skilled, certified folks here for a time period. I don't know how long this visa actually lasts, but we can get these people here, pay them less. We have to pay them accordingly to the state's salary, but pay them less than what we would pay, our current staff. You can change
Oh,
that structure.
these visas last as long, they can be indefinite.
Oh my God.
Once,
Okay, that's even
once,
worse.
like,
So
once you get a visa, as long as you still work for that employer, because here's the thing, the visa goes to the company,
not
and
the
then the
person.
company
So they can flip
hires
the
somebody.
people out however, like, okay, well, you're not doing whatever, whatever. So whoop, we want to flip somebody else into your place. Oh my
Right.
God. Okay. Well, yeah. So this just, it reminds me, and hopefully reminds you, health information professional, of what you need to do to position yourselves, and protect yourselves and your career, because clearly folks ain't really checking for you. Yeah, it's one thing to get you excited about it and let you know all of these opportunities that may or may not now exist. However, at that point, then they can wash their hands. We got you in. We did our part. Be out there. Be free. Fly, butterfly, fly. And so it's real important that we kind of talk through and talk about some of the things that we can do kind of even now to protect ourselves. Mr. Jesse, are you done with the screen?
Oh yes, let me
Here,
stop
I'll
sharing.
pull it down. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can kind of talk through some of those strategies to do that. Where did we go? So, a couple of things. on how we can. So let me ask you one more question before I get into that. So the H1B
Hmm.
visas, are they specific? Are they, do they outline specifically this is the only box that this person can play in, or is
Yes.
there some wiggle room?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's a specialty occupation, so it's for highly specified skills. So that could be medical coding. It could be auditing.
Okay.
Because because right now it's not, as far as I know, there's no HIM company that has H-1B visas at the moment. And I think the reason why it's like that is because they're so limited in the number that are available, and the tech companies have been grabbing them up. But I'm just thinking, if they expand, could this impact the domestic HIM industry? Because we know that no company is loyal. The bottom line is money. And
Absolutely.
and even with the whole, because right now there's a loophole for certifications, but I saw this in the nursing industry. This happened maybe 15 years ago in nursing. What they do is they can raise the stakes, because like in nursing, like in certain hospitals, they call magna status. So like there are three different ways you can become an RN. You can either get a diploma, you can either get an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. Well, what these hospitals did was, this organization, I don't even know where it came from, but in order to attain magna status, every nurse in the hospital has to have a bachelor's degree. And they literally gave nurses a certain amount of time in certain hospitals, well, actually, almost all of them now. You had to get your bachelor's degree, or or they got rid of you. And that did not change until COVID, because it was just such a
Hey.
shortage. Because it was such a shortage. But what is to say that long term, the HIM industry doesn't say, because they bring these people over, well, now everybody has to have an RHIA.
Well, I remember a few years ago there was conversations around making the RHIA your standard. So instead
See?
of having the RHIT,
Mm.
and they never said what was going to actually happen with the RHIT, and I haven't even heard any more conversation around that. But they were saying that that should be the minimum requirement into the field, and of course there was all kinds of uproar and hoopla and all of the things. But that's one of the things that you should look to position yourself and protect your career, considering getting additional education. We also know considering certification, so maybe a combination of both additional education, getting your RHIA, going and using that for a management path, because we all know that that's more or less where what that focuses on, or other specialty certifications where you're not just coding certified. You may, get other things, other types of coding, even risk adjustment or tumor registry, trauma registry, those types of things. So there are other certifications that will allow you to protect your career. And I know, because you got your 3 decades, I got mine. Folks would just go in, get what they got, stick and stay, and just ride the wave. Those days are gone. Those days don't exist anymore. And with the new onslaught of millennials and whatever all the other people that comes after, I don't know what y'all call, but you know who you are. Oftentimes people who were before you only know the mindset of, here's an opportunity, here's a skill, here's a task, here's a job, get this job and go, and not allowing them to expand. Even coming out of a program, even if it's an associate's degree program or even a certificate program, it, providing them with the information, because you know information is always what's needed, and oftentimes the gatekeepers are hiding it. But providing with the information, you still there are other things that you can do to build your career and be successful in your career. Other things, and we talked about this in the meeting after the meeting last week. You know, some technology integration skills, learning SQL basics for healthcare data analytics. We all already know that our EHRs and our encoder systems are using computer assisted coding. Get to the nitty gritty, understand those, master those systems, be the expert, if you will, subject matter expert, if you will, in those systems. Develop expertise in understanding population health. Because all of the information and the technology is based on data, and so if you are the person in the group, in the department that is data driven, then you have kind of positioned yourself for other opportunities, even with your HIM certifications or degrees. Also, get certified in these EHR systems. I, I I believe once upon a time, and I'm not sure if it is the same today, but I knew you had to get oh, what was it? Someone had to kind of cater you or introduce you to and I'm thinking epic certifications. There was something like your employer had to do in order
You
to
have to
get you
sponsor you for
to
Epic. Yeah.
sponsor. I don't know if that's still the same today,
Yes.
but Epic isn't the only person on the block. So even if you possibly can get through to other EHR systems and get certified in them, maybe there's a grandfathering of getting and looking into others. I don't know, but that's something that we can actually look to. But knowing that we are now in these EHR or have these EHR systems, and we have a skill that is crucial to these EHR systems, particularly for what it is that we do, why not get certified in that area? I know, you know, that's just again adding more certifications to your stack, but it's making you marketable. It's protecting your positions. Yes.
The only issue I have with all of that is I don't have a problem with growth. I don't have a problem with expanding and learning and becoming more marketable. What I have an issue with is to do all that to make less or the same money. Because because that is the general end of the H-1B visa program, period. These people are not on the top of the pay scale because I've seen, I watched a couple videos on YouTube by people who work in HR. And we all know that there is a pay band for all positions. As long as they are paying them within that band, they have fulfilled the federal requirement. They can't pay them like if the position has a range of 82 to 150, they can't pay them 70. They have to pay them at least 80.
Mm-hmm.
But what that does is that then drives the wages down because then if you are trying, let's just say you work, you're making 140 and you try to get another job and this has become a thing, and most of they have these people working in there for 90, they're not going to pay you 140 because they don't have to, because they have other people that they can bring in to do the same thing, so it drives wages down. So I wouldn't have an issue with getting, investing in advanced education and incurring, because school is not free. So if you're going to incur a debt, there has to be a payoff. And this ultimately does not increase wages, it ultimately suppresses wages. So it's just like, so what is exactly the benefit other than just being able to stay employed? And I
Well, I don't
think
agree
that,
with that. I actually don't agree with that.
but
I feel like you are building skills
but
and
but that but it's okay to disagree, but that's the
Okay.
fact of the H-1B program. They bring down wages. That's why people are against it.
Correct, for
Right.
that position. But
Okay.
as an HR professional, we all know there's so many opportunities and how broad it is. And so you need to build your skill set to go into any of these additional paths. So let them have that one skill of, that's why I asked when they come in, or is the visa based on one position or one skill set? Because that's fine. Great. Y'all got that. We can't harbor on and continue to fight that if it's going to be a downhill battle, because they're going to your point, do what's best for their bottom line. And you individual got to do what's best for your bottom line. And so you need to figure out, how do I stay in this large engrossing profession that has lots of different opportunities that can get me in different positions. I know, and Dr. Jasmine is, we've been in talks, and we're going to have her on, but she has done several, I guess, mini research on looking for positions based on skills. And where you may come in, or you may have a coding skill, but there are other skills that you may have, and you're not necessarily thinking about this other skills that you may have acquired, and not looking for positions or jobs that also are looking for those type of skills that offer a different band. The salary band is a little different depending on where you are. So y'all have that, but we need to prepare for, or folks should prepare, and not only those of us who've been here and seasoned and whatever, but we got new people coming in, and so we need to prepare them for what it looks like for them coming in. Yes, you get your foot in the door with a particular coding certification, or you get the coding job, but is it wise for you to stay there? Is it wise for you to then, you want to advance not only in your positioning in the organization or in other organizations, because now people don't even stick and stay anymore. They bounce however, but you want to market yourself to be able to go and get these additional positions and get the additional bag. And so to do that, you're going to have to get some additional skills. You may have to get some additional education. You may have to go and get some leadership development. Both of the coding organizations, well, AHIMA is technically not a coding organization, but a health information organization, and the coding organization allows you opportunities to say, well, how can I, nobody is actually teaching me or talking me through leadership. How can I get involved? That's free. You can join your local AHIMA or component association. You can volunteer for opponent or components association, boards, projects, all kinds of things. Same way with AAPC. They have local chapters where you can volunteer and learn how best to develop yourself as a leader for free. You don't have to, well, your time, but there's no money involved. Some of us who have been in this field for a minute, we can mentor new professionals. We got people coming into the field and graduating out of the field, or getting their certification, and they're lost, they're confused. What do I do? Where do I go? We hear this all the time. We can begin to mentor them and offer them additional opportunities. Let them know, as we do here on the Saturday Morning Tea, the real. This is what's happening in our field. This is what you need to know. This is how you need to, to protect yourself, and how you need to move in this field. It's
But
different than what it was back then. Even in your if you have a position, there are always some kind of departmental projects. There's always something going on. Jump on that. I mean, yes, it's additional time, yes, but you are building up yourself. So you're not just doing the same thing in and out, day in, day out. You're providing yourselves an opportunity to learn additional things. And department projects and that kind of stuff, that's on the people's clock. So Yeah, team
But
management. Those are also skills that,
I, but I mean, Clarice, I hear exactly what you're saying, but that's not that's not what's happening. Do you
but
know?
you make it
But
happen. You
wait,
have to be the change that you want to see happen. And so you let,
I'm not.
you don't
No,
want to be the
no,
one that not tell the
no.
people that this is what's
You,
happening and what they
but
need to do.
But the thing is, but that's why is it? Why are there people? There are people I know with RHITs. There are people I know who are certified who can't get a job already. It has nothing. So if you can't get a job right now, how can you get into skill development? How can you get into management, leadership development? If you can't get it, it's already hard in HIM now to get a job fresh out the gate. So
So
if you,
again, what does your, and we've talked about that. What does your resume look like? Are you putting in
but
the skills that
that's
you
not.
do
But
have?
you
Yes,
can no,
sir.
no, but you
Yes,
can
sir.
but you cannot. But if the majority of people have a problem getting a job, it's not the people, it's the industry. I'm telling you, as a nurse, you can walk out of school tomorrow and get a job without a license because you get a temporary license. Without one, you don't have to work, you don't have to stress, you don't have to perfect your resume. Although everybody has a resume, but the bottom line is you have that skill. This is not going to end, is this is not going to bode well for the industry. And what I think people need to do, in addition to skill development, people need to get politically active. People need to start contacting their senators and their representatives right now and let them know they're not for it because it's coming sooner rather than later. It's not going to be tomorrow, it's not going to be this year, but sooner or later down the line, 3, 4, 5 years, those people who still have to work another 10, 15 years are going to be screwed.
And that's also advocacy, which is on my list. That is also advocacy.
Right.
So, advocating for your profession, advocating for what is happening. I mean, I know there's advocacy efforts around certain regulations and certain initiatives, but there needs to be advocacy for the profession. And I feel like a lot of that is lacking on both sides.
Oh, of course, of course.
So because people don't know what is it that a person in health information, what do they do, what is that, no one
But
kind of knows that. So again,
right,
that's part of the conversation that needs to be had.
but right, this conversation right here is cutting edge. Ain't nobody in HIM having this conversation right now in January 2025, but they should. You already know how I feel about AHEMA and AAPC. I think they both can kick rocks. I think they're all outdated. I think they're all useless, and they are a waste of time. The only reason why I'm a member of any of them is because I have to be. Period. Because they do nothing for me. They should be the ones that have a round table. They should be having a discussion. But they so busy trying to make people get 40% of their CEUs from them. It's all bullcrap. Like
Yeah, I agree. They are the ones that should be leading these
they are told.
conversations with other organizations. It should, they, we shouldn't have to fight individually for ourselves. We and I said this, we pay money to good money.
Yes.
Money that, some folks can't even afford to pay, but they paying good money to be part of these organizations. And are these organizations really speaking for them and advocating for them, for their profession, for what they do? A person shouldn't have to come in and teach an HR recruiter or HR professional what our role is. A person shouldn't have to be like, well, wait a minute, we do this and no. The organization should be talking to the HR organizations to let them know, hey, when you see these types of positions, this is what they're talking about. We had a House of Delegates meeting. It wasn't this past year. I want to say it was last year or the year before. And we had, we would have breakout sessions, and there was a gentleman there, and it stuck with me, and it still stuck with me because no one else has been even talking about that. Like when you go through the labor occupational listing, it doesn't even have medical. It is antiquated. It still says something about librarian and all of that. No, those are the type of things you need to advocate for, because with adding the additional skill set that we bring to the table, everybody's like, excited, and I am too, that we're considered a STEM profession. None of that is part of what it looks like on a national level when the government folks go back and look at, that classification. That classification needs to be updated. Where are the people to talk about, let's update the classification so at least we look like who we are? And right now we don't. We look like we the little people in the back, shuffling. I mean, there's no papers, but shuffling through files or moving things in files. And that's not who we are. We we
But
we have so much to offer. But again, we individuals should not be having this fight. We collectively with our organization or pushing our organization to have this fight. And it's just not happening.
well, how can you have it happen when you have when you pay for an organization that brings in everybody who doesn't have an HIM background to run it?
Say again. I'm sorry.
I said, how can you have that kind of advocacy when you have an organization that brings in people to run it that don't have an HIM background, who didn't come up through the ranks? That's just like you look at, like I just look at unions. You know, you pay union dues, and that union fights for you. That union
Mm-hmm.
brings up issues before you even become aware of it,
Mm-hmm.
because that's their job.
Mm-hmm.
And the best indicator of future behavior is past performance.
Mm-hmm.
All I want everybody in HIM to think about and to do their own research. In the past, I think it's a year and a half. And that's why I know everything happens for a reason, and there's conversations being had, but we're just not privy to it.
Mm-hmm.
This whole H-1B visa thing is an issue now, but look at what has happened previously. Within the
Mm-hmm.
past year and a half, well over 100,000, that's six figures, well over 100,000 tech workers, I'm talking about highly skilled tech workers, have been laid off.
Mm-hmm.
They have the education, they have the training, they have all the skills. They have been laid off. So if now they, expand this H-1B visa program, most of those people, if they do get employed again, will have to take a major pay cut. When in this day and age, you can't afford to lose $1 an hour or 100 or $1,000 off your salary per year, because it is so expensive. So that's why I just think, like, people, we just need to see the canary in the coal mine, because if there's ever a way that they can flip it, HIM in this country is going to go just like tech, because they don't care. These companies don't give a crap about
No, they
anything but
don't.
the
They
bottom line.
don't. And we both know, and we talk about all the time, even entrepreneurship, finding opportunities on how to adjust that or shift that and find ways in which you can kind of do things on your own. I am a proponent of having multiple streams of income so that you are not relying on one thing or the other. For me, personally, I feel the same way about my skill level. I'm not going to just have one. That's why I do all of the things. I try to learn a little bit about, and you, sir, are also the poster child for that. You learn all different things so you can have and take what you learn in one. And oftentimes we both know that if I learn something over here, there's some kind of nuggets, there's some gems or something that's going to apply to the skill I have over here. You're building that, you're banking that. And all I'm saying is make yourself valuable. If you're coming into health information as a coder and all you think of, oh, I want to be a coder because I want to work from home. If I hear that one more time, I swear to God, I'm going to scream. I just want to be a coder because I want to work from home. I just want to be a coder because I want to work from home. Or I want to be a medical biller and coder. Don't even get me started on that. But
Mhm.
anyway, even if you're coming into the profession at that level, great, wonderful. But know that the competition for people coming in at that level is great. You need to elevate yourself above the fray by building your skills, making yourself valuable beyond just basic coding. That's all I'm saying. Period.
But like I told you, I've seen this before. Well, first of all, I'm watching it unfold in tech, and I've seen what it has done to nursing. Like, people want to talk about, oh, the nursing shortage. The nursing shortage was created by the nursing profession. and they're not trying to do anything to correct it. This is why there's a nursing shortage. The nursing shortage could be solved in a year if they really, really wanted to. But they are so they're so entrenched, they're so freaking outdated. I mean, I think they need. I don't think you should be on any kind of board or governing body. I'm serious, over 60, because your mind, you have to be forward thinking in order, if you're going to be in those kind of positions. You have to think,
Absolutely.
and I'm these boards and these organizations right now, they them people are too old, and their thinking is too outdated. All of them. That's why we're in this mess we're in. That's why nursing is the way it is. That's why HIM is the way it is. That's why healthcare is the way it is. I don't know what they're thinking about, but it's not what they should be thinking about. It's not what they should be advocating about. It's not what they should be meeting for. And it's a shame that you have to have. I mean, that's why I always tell you, I'm appreciative, for you having this space and this platform, because people need to get the information. Because I'm telling you, these people out here are whack AF. And if you rely on them, you will be selling churros on the side of the road.
Not churros, sir.
I'm, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's true. And so while the conversation involves all of us, the conversation is really highlighted towards the newer of us, because again, we falling out, we rolling back. It's the new folks, and they need to understand the history of what it is that they're walking into, and what it is, how they need to move, how they need to protect them, to protect even the profession, because at some point, at the rate that things are going, this profession may not even exist anymore. Look at what's on the labor bureau listing. That doesn't even exist anymore, but that's what's we're classified as to the government. So I mean, just think about, the goal shouldn't even be about protecting your job. It's to advance your career despite any market changes. They can throw whatever. They now have, we talked about them throwing AI. We talked about, what happens with offshoring. Now we're talking about these particular visas. All of this stuff is going to come and more. There are going to be additional things that may be coming down. But you have to prepare yourself to be able to survive regardless of the change. We know even in this profession, change is inevitable. Change happens all the time. But how do you navigate those changes? What do you need to do? What things can you individually do to make sure you okay? And then even share that information with others so that they are okay. Again, understanding healthcare systems, understanding how all of this operates and how it moves, and how you are a critical piece and component in that. We also talked about being a critical thinker, being a strategic thinker. Those are things that are not necessarily taught to you, but at some point you got to figure out, how do I get the skill? How do I get the information so I can learn to do those things? Those are some of the things that will help you going forward and help you rise above the fray.
Now, well, I'll save it for the meeting after the meeting, because I do have a suggestion, but I'm going to hold it.
All right, cliffhanger teaser. All right, people. Well, hopefully, you heard the argument. You heard what is happening. You have, if you didn't know, now you know. You can't say you didn't know, right? At a bare minimum. And now you got to think about, well, what do you do? What do we do?
All I'm going to say, this is it for me. To quote from the Game of Thrones, winter is coming.
Ain't it already here? No kidding. All right then. And on that note, we will be wrapping it up. All right, all right. Well, let me put my little thing in here. I swear to God, I'm gonna get this together. I promise you. Oh, it says extra camera. I can add an extra camera in here. Oh, see, I always see something new every time I go in here. It's crazy. All right. So are you thirsty for fresh perspectives, unique perspectives, things you ain't never heard of on the healthcare revenue cycle? Well, by becoming one of the PRNT sippers, you'll join a community of sharp minds who savor the complexities of the healthcare revenue cycle. So why sip alone when you can steep in knowledge? We can steep in knowledge together. Come, let's spill the tea on industry insights and what is happening in our world. Here's what you can expect as a valued member of the Tea Sippers. Exclusive healthcare insights, gain access to in-depth articles, webinars, and resources, as well as conversations covering the latest healthcare trends, compliance updates, and revenue cycle best practices. Early access. Be the first to receive expert insights and guides, ensuring you stay ahead in the ever-evolving healthcare industry. Yeah, just like today. We had this conversation last week, and now we're just bringing more information to you. How about that? Personalized support. Enjoy direct access to our team of experts for guidance on medical coding, compliance issues, and revenue cycle management. We're here to answer your questions and support your professional growth. And so you have an opportunity to tap in, ask the questions that you need, ask the questions that may be top of mind for you in any of those particular areas. And then my favorite, community connection. Join a private community of healthcare professionals where you can network, share experiences, and collaborate on finding solutions to common challenges. So by supporting us, you're not only advancing your healthcare knowledge and career, but also contributing to the success of the Professional Reimbursement Network LLC, a resource that empowers healthcare professionals like you to thrive in their roles, goals, and dreams. So thank you in advance for considering becoming a member of the PRNT Sippers. And for the cost of 2 cups of tea, maybe, or a cup of one of them fancy coffees, you can join the community. And that's just a month rate. You can join the community. So check out the link in the description of the video. Your support means the world to us, and we look forward to helping you excel in the world of health information and revenue cycle. Yay! Look at you clapping.
And I'm gonna send you the links if you want to put them in the
Yes, please. I was going to ask you if you could just
yes.
send them to me, and I'll add them to our portal.
Yeah, I'll
So
just
again,
text them to you.
appreciate you. Again, thank you all for joining the Saturday morning tea or checking out the replay. Let me just ask, was the tea spilled today?
We
Put
came
your
we coming out strong in 2025.
frog in 2025. Put your teacups in the chat. Put your teacups in the chat. Hitting on these hot topics, current relevant topics that not only impact us globally, but also impact us professionally. How about that? All right, all right. Wait, I think I see something that's going on. Okay. Now, before we sign off, oh, and we're over time, I've got a special request for all you amazing viewers out there. If you found this episode helpful, don't keep it to yourself. Share the knowledge with your colleagues by hitting that share button. And hey, why not subscribe to our channel while you're at it? That way, you'll never miss a drop of our health information, compliance, revenue cycle, and medical coding tea. Also, if you have thoughts or questions or experiences that you want to share about today's topic, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation brewing. You know, we talkers and we talk. And if you enjoyed this episode, give us a thumbs up. It helps more healthcare professionals find our content. And also check out the Coding Nurse channel on YouTube. Remember, the Saturday morning tea, we're all about building a community of savvy, informed healthcare professionals. So again, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's grow this community together. Mr. Jesse, do you have any final closing thoughts?
No, I don't. Just happy New Year to everybody, and now's the time to get busy. You have to take your career seriously because change is coming.
Don't play with it. Don't play with it. You worked hard for it. Don't play with it. You got to keep it. Here we are, right here in your face. Ugh. Okay. So again, this has been a great session today. See you PRNT sippers at 10:15, so in a few minutes, a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, be safe, be kind, and don't wish for it, work for it. Until next time, take care. Have a great weekend. Oh, there's some tea. There's some tea.
Oh,
There's winter. There's winter.
yeah.
All right.
All
Take care.
right. Bye bye.